Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jellosan Jalea, 21 years old from Agusan del Sur, and I am a BS in Science third year in Assumption College of Davao. So I will be presenting to you my 4A's lesson plan for this lesson. So we have here my lesson plan in Science 10. So let's proceed to the next page. So in this page, we can see the objectives of the lesson plan. So at the end of the lesson, students are expected to identify the plate boundaries play in earthquakes, determine the different types of faults and their related stresses, and describe how tsunamis form and their effects. So we have also here the subject matter, the topic itself, the materials that will be used in this discussion, also the references, and the learning procedure. We have here the preliminaries, the prayer, greetings, attendance, and review, then also the lesson proper. So we have also activity, and also we have analysis, and also the abstraction or the discussion. What is the discussion all about, and also the application. So we can see here an activity again, and also an evaluation at the end, and an assignment, and also closure. Let's start our discussion. Good afternoon, students. I am Jellosan and I will be your science teacher for this afternoon. So to begin our discussion this afternoon, let's all stand for our prayer. Amen. So thank you so much. Again, good afternoon, students. Who is your secretary? Please check the attendance of your classmates who is present and absent for this afternoon. For this will become my basis for giving you extra credits in your final grade. Okay? In summary, who can give a recap of our discussion yesterday? Yes, Mr. Canodas. Okay, thank you, Mr. Canodas. That was very impressive. You really understood what is our discussion yesterday. So, to formally begin our discussion this afternoon, let me present to you our learning objectives. So, we have here our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, students are expected to identify the plate boundaries in earthquakes, determine the different types of faults under related stresses, and also describe how tsunamis form and their effects. But before that, let's have first a short activity. This activity is a pair activity. So you will choose your own partner. So we'll give you 5 minutes to discuss with your partner what is our learning objectives is all about, and also after the time elapse or after a given time is elapsed, I will pick a pair to share their ideas about our lesson this afternoon. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon and Ms. Sanchez, for your ideas, sharing your ideas about our learning objectives of this discussion. So you really discussed well with your partner, isn't it? Okay, thank you so much. Very good. To start our discussion this afternoon, let me ask this first question. What do you think is our discussion is all about? Okay, Mr. Demographo, thank you so much, Mr. Demographo. So our discussion this afternoon is all about earthquake and faults. So let's begin. Movement in the narrow zones along plate boundaries causes most earthquakes. Most seismic activity occurs at three types of plate boundaries: divergent, convergent, and transform. We have divergent. So this is divergent spreading. So this is where two plates move away from each other. Molten rock from the mantle erupts along the opening, forming new crust. So this is the picture that shows the divergent boundaries. So the earthquakes that occur along these zones, called spreading centers, are relatively small. The Great Rift Valley in Africa, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden all form as a result of divergent boundaries. So when we say convergent boundaries colliding, this occurs when plates move towards each other and collide. When a continental plate meets an oceanic plate, the thinner, denser, and the more flexible oceanic plate sinks beneath the thicker, more rigid continental grid. And this picture shows the convergent boundaries. Okay? Are you still with me, students? Okay, thank you so much. Listen because we'll be having an activity after this. Okay? So the third one is that when two tectonic plates slide past each other, the place where they meet is a transform or lateral fault. So the best example for this boundary is the San Andreas fault. Here we can see the picture of a transform fault or transform boundaries. So are we done with the three types of plate boundaries. So let's proceed to the fault categories or the stresses, related stresses of fault. Okay, these three senses stress also correlate with the three types of plate boundaries: the convergent, divergent, and transform. So let's start first with compression. Compression. Compression stress happens at convergent plate boundaries where two plates move towards each other. The second one is the tension. So tension stress happens at the divergent plate boundaries where two plates are moving away from each other. So the last is the shear. Shear stress is experienced at transform boundaries where two plates are sliding past each other. So sliding past each other. So the same with the transform or lateral fault. So how tsunamis form? Anyone from the class? What do you think why tsunamis are formed? Okay, let's proceed. So, a tsunami is a series of waves generated in the ocean or other body of water by a disturbance such as earthquake, landslide, volcanic eruption, and also meteorite impact. So, I have here a picture that shows how tsunamis form. Okay, that it can caused by that movement of plate tectonics, earthquakes, and also meteorite impact. So, as you can see in the picture, earthquake can generate a tsunami. Here, the movement of two plates. Tsunami. In the underlying water, undersea earthquakes, which typically occur at boundaries between Earth's and tectonic plates, cause the water above to be move up. Here, to move up. So as presented, these are the following that causes tsunami. We have also here the earthquake, the movement of the plate tectonics, the landslide, the volcanic eruption under the water, which it can uplift, disturb the ocean, and also the meteorite impact. Now, let's have an activity. Are you still with me? I hope you listen to our discussion because in this activity, it will test your understanding. This is very simple because it's so basic and I know that you are so brilliant enough to answer these questions. Okay, let's have first our vocabulary matching. So this time I will give you your assignment. So in a 1/2 prose zero paper, you will state your opinion or point of view about this issue or statement. How can humans reduce the impact of tsunami? You should provide a supporting details coming from reliable sources, offline or online resources. So you should use APA format referencing for you to be able to practice how are going to cite a certain article for to avoid plagiarism. Okay? Any more questions? Clarification with our discussion? Did you learn something? Very good, students. Very good. You really understood what is our discussion after, and I hope this topic or the learnings that you have gathered this afternoon will be used in your exam. Okay, in your upcoming exam. To formally close this discussion, let's all stand and have our closing prayer. Amen. So that's it, students. Before I leave this classroom, please arrange your chairs and pick up some basic papers. So thank you so much for listening and goodbye. See you again tomorrow. I am your teacher, Teacher Jello, and I hope that you will not absent tomorrow. Bye-bye.